It's a brand new week and it's good to see you again. Welcome to Nigeria Today, your current affairs platform where we update you on happenings in and around Nigeria as it concerns governance, politics and development and everything that matters to the corporate existence of this one blessed country called Nigeria. So welcome on board. I am Charles Ibe and it promises to be an exciting one today with you on board. All you have to do is just press that subscription button, like, and of course, share the experience. And then again, you can call in on this line, on the line displayed on your screen, and send your thoughts. You can send your comments also, just right at the comment section to air your views, because you know what? On this platform, your views count. All right, so let's hit the ground running by giving you an update on some news that made the headlines in the Nigerian dailies today. Join me again after that.
Coronavirus no be our friend, yo. Make we push am comot, yo. Corona, he no be our friend, yo. Say make we push am comot, yo.
My country people, you see this coronavirus, no be joke. Make we help ourselves and our government pursue this yamayama sickness from our country. Make we remember to wash our hand every time with soap and water. Make we no forget to sanitize our hand and wear face mask when we come out. Also, make we avoid crowd and keep social distancing when we come out. My people, if you see you don't get symptoms, make you rush go hospital make them treat you. Coronavirus, no be our friend though. Make we remember say prevention better pass cure.
Coronavirus no be our friend, yo. Make we push am comot, yo. Corona, he no be our friend, yo. Say make we push am comot, yo.
Thanks for staying tuned. Now, those are just some of the headlines making the rounds in the dailies today. In case you've missed out on any of the dailies, you can go and grab any of the copies and get the full details so that you need to know. Now, let's get to business. And we'll start with all things coronavirus. Nigeria is just a few figures shy of the 6,000 mark as the Center for Disease Control, NCDC, on Sunday recorded 338 new cases of COVID-19 and 6 deaths due to the virus. Now, the total tally of infected persons in the country has risen to 5,969. Now, till date, 1,594 cases have been discharged and 182 persons have lost their lives due to COVID-19 in 34 states and the Federal Capital Territory. So sad. Now, Nigerians have so far tested 33,970 persons. That's the health institutions. 33,970 persons has been tested since the beginning of the pandemic in the country. While out of the 5,969 confirmed cases, 4,183 are still active. That's a whole lot, if you ask me. Now, Lagos still remains the epicenter of the disease in Nigeria with 2,550 cases, while Abuja, Anambra, and Benue bring up the rear with 5 cases each. What is actually really happening in Lagos and Kano, actually? Kano trails Lagos, but some good distance between Kano and Lagos, but Kano is also just few figures shy from the 1,000 mark. Let's hope the health institutions, the health caregivers, everybody, the task force on COVID-19, they are up to their game to ensure that the spread is curtailed. It's actually very saddening. Every day we keep recording an increase in the numbers instead of a decrease. Now, Nigerian President Muhammadu Buhari, he is expected to address the country this Monday, following the end of the first phase of the gradual easing of the COVID-19 lockdown. Now, having been briefed by the Presidential Task Force on COVID-19, led by the Secretary to the Government of the Federation, that's Boss Mustafa, that he was briefed on Thursday, the President is expected to tell Nigerians, that is you and I, the way forward, or the next phase in the fight against the ravaging virus. So what are your expectations? What do you think? Should the lockdown be lifted completely? That's to include worship places, recreational centers, let's go back to church, let's go back to watching our good old games, remember Bet Niger and all of that? Now, it has been clamored so far by so many Nigerians. Not a few Nigerians have clamored for the reopening of these places. So what do you think should be the next phase of this fight against COVID-19? I'm hearing some people saying perhaps a total lockdown should come back because of the increase in the numbers that have so far been recorded in Nigeria. 5,900, that is so much if you ask me. Well, you can share your views. It just might help the authorities making the next good decision. So please drop that comment, share your views. And while you do that, please always remember that it's very, very pertinent. And we'll keep emphasizing it on this platform that you stay safe. We need you to be alive to do this together every weekday. Maintain social distance. Wash your hands as often as possible. It's recommended 10 times, but I say keep washing as long as you have water and soap available. Wash your hands often, especially when you are out in the public and you touch some surfaces. Ensure you wash your hands. And when you go home, ensure you take a bath. Discard the clothes you wear, put it out in the sun if you have to, and do a whole lot of safety measures. It's going to be very, very well at the end of the day. And Nigerians will always talk. We'll have very, very good stories to tell how we survived COVID-19. And may God rest the souls of those who have lost their lives due to the pandemic. And those who are still on it, well, we wish you speedy recovery. Now, also to tell you that the long-awaited COVID organics from Madagascar, it arrived in the country. I don't know how many of us are waiting for that is it elixir, respite, whatever you call it. Well, it is in the country, and we heard that the government has plans to subject it to some further test. That is at the NAFDAC. The NAFDAC has to look at it again, certify that it is very, very good for consumption and it's going to work. If it worked in Madagascar, why not? It will work in Nigeria. Not minding what some other persons think from the World Health. I heard that there are some issues between Madagascar and the World Health Organization, but that is going to be a story for another day. So, in all, let us try to ensure that we stay safe. Everything that you have to do, please do it. Wear your face mask. It is not a badge of shame. It is for your life. And it's also a fashion now. Perhaps you could call it a fad. Maybe it will fade in time. But for now, please, do put on your face mask. It is compulsory right now. I think it's been gazetted, and I came across a little bit of legislation on it, that it is actually now against the law to go out in the public place without your face mask. If you don't know, now you know. And remember, I've told you here on Nigeria Today, please wear your face mask. No excuse. The security agencies are out there on the street ensuring that you put it on. Not just for you to put on for the sake of putting on. It is for your own good. A living dog, remember, is better than a dead lion. All right, away from COVID-19, let's talk some governance issues. Now, the federal government has called on Striking Academic Staff Union of Universities, ASU, to suspend the strike and return to the classroom or laboratories, as the case might be, to manufacture drugs for the cure of COVID-19. Yes, I think I second the government on that. Well, let's find out more. The federal government said it is inconsiderate for those who should be conducting research for the discovery of new drugs, creating medical equipment, formulating and putting in place that will be used during the COVID-19 period, to stay at home doing nothing. And I think if I have to add a little bit of Jara there, it is actually not good at all. It is definitely not good. If you know something that you have to do to ensure that COVID-19 becomes history, you should be doing that, especially if you are a member of the academia. Now, the Minister of Labor and Employment, as the Senator Chris Ngige, who spoke recently, he said government has shown goodwill, enough goodwill. And the expectation now is that ASU should announce a calling off of their strike and go back to the classrooms, while negotiations still continue with their leadership, the leadership of ASU. The minister stated further that the government has waived the olive branch. It has waived enough olive branch towards ASU by accepting to pay ASU even when the policy of no work, no pay is still in force. Okay, that's very good coming from the government. It was always worrisome when there is strike and they say, if you strike forever, you're not going to get your pay forever. But now government is able to overlook that just for the sake that ASU should go back to the class. In fact, not just the classroom now, because we know every school is on lockdown. They should head back to the laboratories and mix get busy with those lab equipments, mix those chemicals. And also, ASU should also, collaborate with our local hubs. Do one or two things. After all these chemicals, if you go really in depth, you find out that some of their compositions are actually gotten from herbs. And what do you have? Now recall that ASU proceeded on strike over the federal government's insistence that the union should enroll in Integrated Payroll and Personnel Information System, IPPIS, like every other civil servants, for them to receive their salaries. Okay. ASU has described IPPS as a platform for fraud and corruption, alleging that serious fraud could be going on through IPPS if not urgently checked. I hope government has given ears to that. If ASU has some instances, some cause to worry about the IPPS, by now government should have gone over the drawing board, check the I's if they are actually dotted and the T's if they are crossed, to ensure that no fraud. Okay, so that ASU goes back to classrooms. We have instances where the names of some academics has been arbitrarily injected into the platform, even without any registration or capturing their biometrics. And ASU has queried the possibility also of registering academics on a payroll system that was touted to have unique identity management features and based on personal metrics. Okay. Now, at this point, I really have to advocate. Now, let me play an advocate. ASU, please, for the sake of people that are dying from COVID-19, we know we have the eggheads among you. We know we have the brains. We know we have the wherewithal to put this pandemic on a check. I believe strongly that Nigeria has the remedy for this COVID-19. And had it been ASU had been up and doing before now, perhaps we would have been talking about something else rather than COVID-19. And the whole world would have been trooping to Nigeria to get the remedy. But ASU, they're out at home. I don't know. Please, ASU, rethink again. Go back to the negotiation table and talk it over with the government. Government also, you have to give some grounds. I mean, ASU and government, they have always been one and the same, you know. It's like two peas in a pod, you understand? So we can't do without each other. So let's hope by the time the schools are resuming, every university student is going back to school. The science students among them are heading to the laboratories to study the pandemic, study what happened and what not. And at the end of the day, come out with some good news from Nigerian universities, the ivory towers. All right. Now let's go for a break. And when I return, we'll look at some other issues in Nigeria today. Join me.
No matter how much water I pour into this bucket, no matter how long I wait, it will never get full. Why? The water is leaking on arrival. African nations are like this bucket. Africa has leaks of corruption. And so it does not matter how much tax we collect from the citizen. It does not matter how much donation we get from the developed countries. It does not matter how much we borrow. So long as the leaks of corruption are still there, the visions we have for our country will still remain a mirage. Why? The money is leaking out on arrival. I pity the hoi polloi, that is the simple citizen. Imagine the tax you are paying is leaking out into the hands of few merciless devourers who are using the public funds to galvanize themselves against poverty. Who will help us block these leaks of corruption? Do you think one person can single-handedly block these leaks? I believe it has to be an orchestra of the leaders and the citizens who have vowed to slay this monster called corruption. We see the corruption leaks everywhere. At our workplace we see them. In our business premises we see them. But what are we doing about it? Because if we continue this way, we are passing this into generations and the generations to come. It all starts with what each and every one of us is doing on a daily basis.
Welcome back. And in case you're just joining in, this is Nigeria Today. Now just gone by, you just saw that fellow in that video talking about corruption. It can never be overemphasized how corruption has been dealing with Africa. And it is time for Africa to deal with corruption. And hopefully they are going to get there. Remember, our own President Muhammadu Buhari is the champion for anti-corruption in the West African region. And of course, one of the most stunted fights against corruption is in Nigeria and is definitely gaining ground. All right, let's move on to some governance issues still. On April 22nd, 2020, state governors in the northern part of Nigeria began the deportation of students of the Almajiri system in their states back to their home states. as the region battles the growing cases of coronavirus. Now, apparently the leaders in the northern Nigeria, especially the governors, had come to terms with the social and security menace posed by the army of out-of-school children, when you talk about the Almajiri, and have therefore taken bold steps to return them to their various home states within the northern region. Now, the decision has since been criticized as being contrary to the Constitution of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, which grants every citizen the right to live, travel, and have a basic education in any part of the country. However, in recent times, southern leaders have raised the alarm that many of the affected children, that is the Almajiris, are being transported, or you say smuggled into the into the southeast, the southern part of Nigeria, since the northern governors began the process. Now, let's take a look at this amateur video sent in by an eyewitness. We'll talk some more. Join me.
You can see them. You can see them. Where are they coming from? Where are they driving them from? The driver has to be. How? You see them? You see them? That's the problem we are having. Where are these people coming from? Every day they are bringing them in. I was the one that reported to the civil defense. Yes. I reported to civil defense. Thank you very much, Nigeria. Please do your own recording and make sure they get it, all right? Thank you. We are heading back now. Thank you. Look at it happening now, live. Civil defense checkpoint after bypass, just before BIU. That is where they are right now. Look at them. Look at them. This is sabotage. Look at the truck. No number. No number. And they are Nigerians. Thank you.
My people, I greet you. Please, I don't know what is going on, but something is really going on. I don't know what is going on, but I tell you, something is really going on. Because yesterday, in the night, Governor Wike arrested people, Fulani headsmen, hiding inside a trailer with foodstuffs heading to River State. Now, this afternoon at Jaku Junction in Abuja, Edo State, Fulani headsmen, a lot of them, I don't know their number, I don't want to put a wrong number, but you can see it on the video. There are a lot of them. Look at them in the top. We are hiding inside a 40-feet container. Hiding inside a 40-feet container. Can you tell me, what are these 500 men hiding inside a 40-feet container for? And heading to the south. What are these men hiding inside a 40-feet container and heading to the south? I beg every Southerner, wherever you are, Edo State, Delta State, Abia State, Imo State, Rivers, Bayelsa, Kweko,
Welcome back. Well, you saw that video. I was just sent in by an eyewitness, the first video, and the second one. I mean, some form of citizen journalism going on there. I mean, where are these children going to? A lot of questions, and a lot of questions. The governor did say they are taking them back to their home states to reunite with their parents so that they will continue with their lives and perhaps face the normal education in line with a proper Almajiri system or Islamic system of education under the tutelage of their parents and the state government. But now that they are moving down to the south, I wouldn't know if some of them have their parents in the south. I wouldn't know who are the people leading these young Nigerians Where are they leading them to? At this time when there is a ban on interstate travel, there are a lot of questions to be answered. Not neglecting the fact that right now these young Nigerians are being endangered. They are an endangered species right now. And it is not good for the development. Because believe it or not, these are the future of Nigeria. We have potentials amongst those people. Governors of the North, please rethink again. Make these things, let it be more organized, let it be more planned. And this clandestine movement into the southeast or any other part of the country, at this point in time, it is definitely not very good. This is not the narrative that Nigerians want to be hearing right now. There is an expert that was supposed to be on this platform to talk more about this thing, but hopefully the next Nigerian Today, he is going to be on us more insight. But before now, please, whoever is in charge of these people, do the needful. Don't endanger the lives of these children. Nigerians, please, these are your future, the future of Nigeria. I recall someone saying, in other climes, if you touch a child, if you beat a child or have a harsh word for a child, the government comes in and takes the child away from you. But here, what do we have? The future of Nigeria being smuggled into vans and carted away like to whatever, to face uncertain future. I mean, not good at all. Now, let's move on. In a related development, the federal government recently explained that it decided to go ahead with the feeding of school children captured in its homegrown school feeding program, even when schools were still shut down as a result of coronavirus pandemic. Because of his commitment and determination to cushion the hardship for average school children who are facing at home in following the lockdown due to COVID-19. Yes, that is very, very key. These children that are at home, they are going through a whole lot. No tutor, no school, and a whole lot of them that their parents cannot afford a connect to the internet because we hear about e-learning and all of that. They are just roaming about, getting bored, falling prey to some social vices, which is not good at all at this time. And the government now talking about the school feeding program at this time. Okay. The Minister of Humanitarian Affairs, Disaster Management and Social Development, Sadia Umar Farouk, who explained government's position at the official launch of the modified scheme in Abuja, said hunger is a byproduct of the pandemic and school feeding is a means by government of reducing the hardship, especially on parents who don't have enough to feed their children. However, a lot of Nigerians have criticized this decision. How? They have asked. And how? Is it like they are going to announce a day for school children to come and get this feed done? I think the flag of us, it happened in Kuje, one primary school in Kuje, and it was okay. Let's hope it gets replicated all over Nigeria according to the plan of the federal government. But so many people have kicked against it, so many people have criticized it, they've called it a whole lot of names. But if you ask me, let's give it a chance, let's see how it goes. Government always have good plans, and oftentimes all we really lack is the right implementation. But this time, let's hope government gets their act right. And children gets to feed at least once a day during this pandemic while they are out of school. And when hopefully the schools resume, this feeding should continue. And especially our Majority system, because it was recently in the news that the government is